so glad I am here today.
Oh, really?
There is nowhere else I'd rather be.
Really?
I certainly wouldn't want to be at home, going to bed now, getting a train to London tomorrow to watch the cricket final, which I
Once in a lifetime experience.
I mean, 50 years ago, you couldn't wait another bloody week.
A bit bitter there, darling.
Yeah, fantastic. So anyway,
Lovely to be here.
Fantastic.
I don't really know what to say because there's not much there's not many sort of templates on the internet for speaking at such auspicious occasions. So really, I came up with the conclusion it would be kind of like a best man speech with a little bit of sincerity, but with an awful lot of Mickey taking, if you don't mind.
I'm very sensitive, you know.
As Dad just mentioned, people have actually known Mum and Dad longer than I have, and perhaps a better place to sort of comment on the last 50 years than I have. And they've, some of the stories which I've heard growing up, Dad's just mentioned, it was quite interesting when I was growing up, and sure Ed was the same, of hearing the stories of how they met, how Dad was trying to play it to James Bond and wasn't interested. And played all cool. We've heard stories, or interesting stories of their rows they had on the honeymoon, how they almost split up, and this, that, and the other. And some of these events, I think, would have broken, many couples, but this made them stronger. But it wasn't the only sort of nightmares they had to endure over the last 50 years, and in no particular order. I think the first one is the birth. Now, I'm sure most of you are aware that I did my best to kill Mum when I was being born. Didn't quite manage to complete the job, but I gave it a go. So that was a nightmare, and that would have, everyone had to endure Mum's perm in the 80s. That was. Recently, Mum's had to endure Dad's easygoing, laissez-faire attitude towards Brexit. And throughout, they've had to endure Edward as the other son. But this has made them a stronger couple. I'm only joking, of course. Dad hasn't got an easygoing approach to it. But from our point of view and Edward's point of view, we can't really judge Mum and Dad as a couple. They're really sort of Mum and Dad, to be honest, and that's how we're going to judge them. And I'm sure I speak on behalf when we say that the childhood was a very happy one, and they always put us children first. I say always. Most of the time, it was the babysitters that looked after us, while these two were on the lash with most of you. And I have to say the babysitters did a very good job of Edward and myself. And I'm only joking, of course. Family, from my point of view, generally was a period of really great memories. Strawberries and cream, playing cricket, the garden, St Minver, camping in the holiday. It was generally, I think, clear to me that you both wanted a family. And that really showed. It was a really happy childhood. Apart from the time that Mum threw all my toys in the bin because I left the room messy, and when she chased Edward round the garden with a witty bit of Scalextric. It was all good.
And she caught me.
Now recently they've become grandparents. So recently, so they had 2 bites at being grandparents. The first round was with James and Lauren. Interestingly, actually, I remembered at one of these events, it may have been at your house, Judy.
It was at Clemens.
Literally half an hour before we told Mum that she was going to be a grandparent, you publicly said, "I'm not ready to be a grandparent." Half an hour later, we told them. But to James and Lauren, they've been Grandpa Manfred and Grandpa Judy.
Grandpa Judy? That's right.
And more recently, they've been Grandma and Grandpa to Alfie and to Josh. So the 4 children sort of have a commonality, you're both their grandparents. They also have a commonality in a hatred and a fear of your nursery. Now your nursery, which you've so wonderfully decorated, is in fact a house of horrors. What? It has Dickensian characters. It has clowns. It has got Gothic architecture. It's got German villages of the 1920s. Oh, no. It's horrific. Right? And they've got this bloody witch. This witch. Right? Who would put that? Welcome to sleep, little girl. parents, but a little bit.
Kids haven't slept since.
No, there have been horror films made about worse dolls than that.
You got that?
That's because the children took it down and hid it.
I think they all did.
They all
What's
do.
wrong with that? That's friendly. No, you didn't.
It was on a swing on the ceiling.
I'm deeply offended that your children.
Where's the hat?
The hat's gone. That's gone. Anyway, look, Mum and Dad, fundamentally, in my opinion, really have viewed their marriage as a partnership. They've always really, I think, been on the same page. Being serious, I think they've actually really worked hard being a couple. But actually, quite impressively, have understood each
hard work.
other's
But what's hard work?
individuality as well. And they've understood, where there has been some limited failings in the other one. I mean, only limited, obviously. For example, Mum understands her role that every Saturday at 6 o'clock will come a distraught golfer swearing never to play that stupid game again. And it's about time he gave it up. Mum accepts, and Mum pretends to listen. Upset when Dad talks about the following topics in no particular order: Palestine, the economy, Brexit, global warming, social media, increased use of TMOs in sport, Ireland, Israel, and anything that seems to be bugging him at the time. It's not all Mum. Dad also pretends that Mum is listening to this. And Dad also pretended that he had to like Mum's perm in the 80s as well.
Shut up, man. Very good.
But one thing they didn't have to pretend about. Was, their friendship. I think you would struggle to find two better friends. Generally, crosswords are few and far between. And when you are in their home, it's a home full of warmth, kindness, and a home full of love. And I mean that quite sincerely. And you get a feeling they generally feel they are.
She's going.
I'm going.
They generally feel they are lucky to have found each other at the party which was arranged 50 years ago, and I still think they do. I think they both wouldn't have changed a thing. And one thing they take very seriously is their family, their extended family, and their friends. They take all three extremely seriously. So I think it's very fitting that all categories are here.
Oh, great! His text has gone.
I think it's very fitting. So it's very fitting that we have all the categories here today to offer our warmest congratulations on their achievements. And, we all know that marriages aren't just based on love; they take a little work, and the love that you two have invested has paid back 10 times. So I would just ask that you raise your glasses and wish them all the warmest congratulations, Manfred and Judy.
Manfred and Judy. Mum and Dad.
Thank you very much.
Well done, Robert.
Yeah,